Hello, boys and girls. AEW Freak 1127 here, and this is episode 5 of the UTF archive dive. I remembered. Nice. Um, and it's a doozy. It's that video. Trump wins, we lose, so long, America. The video where I instantly disabled comments and likes and dislikes. The video where I went on this really long lamentation about what had just occurred in the United States. What you may not know is that this entire year, in general, to me, 2016, was mentally the absolute worst. So it was not merely the events of November 2016 that made me feel so helpless and downtrodden and morose. It was a lot of other stuff. I'll just put it to you that way. There's a lot of shit that happened in that year that made me feel really horrible. This video was kind of a product of like a culmination of all of that. Me deciding that I'm going to brood here in the dark and I'm going to look away from the camera and and all this and all. There was a lot of sadness running through my veins at this time. And when you suffer with depression, there's kind of always sadness running through your veins. You just find your best way to mitigate it and move on. Um, I've found better ways as time has gone on, but I wish I would have had that better way before I made this video here, because I really don't like it, but I'm gonna watch it and we're gonna go through it anyway because I have balls of steel, to quote the Archfiend. Uh, it has nothing to do with balls, by the way. I just wanted to say that. Let's do it. Episode 5. This is a landmark video for my channel because I'm going to lose more subscribers with the things that I'm going to say in this video than I've ever lost in my entire life. My 6 years here on YouTube making videos. No. That was a poor prediction because the videos I made about rape culture being real or being a thing in the US and hate speech being a real issue. Yeah. It's still to this day I can't understand it because I don't think like those two videos I'm not I still stand by because the things I was saying were backed by evidence, but that's neither here nor there. Those videos lost me more subscribers than this one total. So yeah, poor prediction right off the bat. I can only imagine how precipitously these numbers are going to drop because there are times that I said things just somewhat remotely positive about Hillary Clinton, and people said, "Nope, see ya, bye." So multiply that by 2. Good, and you know what? Hey, the way I feel about Hillary Clinton today, if I did say something positive about Hillary, and you said whatever, so long, bye to me, just know if you're watching this, I am no longer tilted about it at all, as if it matters, but. I did have to hold my nose when I pulled that lever for Hillary Clinton. I'll put it to you that way. I was not a blind Hillary fanboy. I was doing what I thought as somebody who felt compelled to vote, who felt like they should vote. I did the math. I looked at Hillary. She's not what I think this country needs. She's not a progressive. She has very loose values. She's corporate. She's a shill. She's all this. And then on the other side, you have a guy who's basically a bigot and a racist and wants everybody to know it and is not ashamed of telling everybody in his own coded and not so coded ways. So I weighed the options and I went with the one who wasn't a total bigot, and at least publicly. I'm sorry. I just so many feelings get drudged up by this video because another reason I guess for the darkness is there were people around me, and I know there are people out there who will hear this and think this is whiny, snowflake, liberal, whatever. Make of it what you will. I don't fucking care. If you don't have empathy and you're proud of it, so be it. But there were people in my house who were like legitimately shaken, like crying, and were like, "Oh my fucking god, what does this mean?" Because they were legitimately afraid of what it meant for women. And I was comforting them, and I was trying to find a way to console myself. There was a lot of sorrow in that house that night, and make of it what you will. But as we see 5 years later, was there really a whole lot to be worried about? I don't know. Let's keep watching.
Felt less proud to be an American than I do right now.
Not much is still true.
I've never felt more ashamed to call this country home than I do right now, because a majority
Bit harsh.
of people
Bit harsh.
in this country have just elected Donald Trump as the next president of the United States of America.
It's still weird to think about it.
You know, I tried a couple
He
of takes
was
of this
president
video where I
of the
was
United
getting
States.
yelling and screaming and getting angry. I don't have it in me. This, as it's always been, is my catharsis, my sounding board, my how I get things off my chest, as if saying catharsis wasn't obvious enough. But for some of you Trump voters watching, you might need an explanation of the word catharsis.
So unnecessary. It's like, whatever. I was in a weird headspace.
You know, I've just sat in front of the TV, absolutely dumbfounded. And all of these things just hit me all at once. The border wall, the
Never really
mass
happened.
deportation of immigrants,
Didn't really happen.
the stifling of Syrian refugees, or just Muslims in general from entering
Happened,
this country.
then was overturned, then tried to happen again, and was
The
overturned.
possible killing of the families of suspected terrorists.
Never happened.
Testing people before they come into this country to see whether or not they have American values.
That never happened either.
This shit is not sensationalism. This is not bullshit. These are things that he said.
They absolutely were things that he said, and he said a lot worse when he was on the campaign trail. But as I stated before, when you look back 5 years later, how many of those things were enacted? Were things any worse for immigrants under Trump than they were under Obama? Because things were still pretty bad for them at the border under Obama. And that was something that I was aware of with time when I stopped shilling for Barack Obama and thinking he was the hottest shit. Donald Trump did try and try and try, he did, over and over again, to try to make life really, really hard for people who were not white Americans. And there may be things that succeeded, but a lot of the really bad and nasty, ugly, awful ones failed because, as I guess I forgot to tell myself in the moment before I made this video, there are systems in place in the United States of America to stop unjust things from becoming law. It fails a lot of the time, but it came through a lot of the time when it came to overturning some of the shit that Donald Trump wanted to pass in regards to immigrants and refugees. So all those things he promised, all of these horrible, horrible things that were going to come to pass, by and large, never did. But it doesn't mean I wasn't right to be worried. It doesn't mean that, myself being a cis white man, like, definitely not as much to worry about as, say, a trans person or a woman or a person of color. But I was still worried, and we all had just for the common good of the country, we all had a reason to worry. So But just roll on.
As if I need to go over the list of reasons why this man would not even be fit to be the dog catcher of some town in bumfuck Arkansas.
I could have been more creative than that. Surely?
This goes far beyond Hillary not winning. It's about the man that a majority of Americans thought, hey, I'd like to see him as the leader of the free fucking world. I would like him to be within pissing distance of the nuclear launch codes.
Majority of he lost by millions of votes, so he didn't even win by a majority. He won with the electoral college. I don't know if those numbers made themselves that apparent by the time that I made this video because they were still counting votes. But no, it wasn't even a majority of Americans who wanted him to be president because Hillary won the popular vote by more votes than anyone in history. And she still lost. It would probably be a material for a completely different video, but when it came to redistricting and gerrymandering, the lines were clearly drawn in favor of Trump, and he trounced her, and that's that. But why do I always do that before I hit play? I say, but anyway.
I would like him to also have a Republican majority so he can run roughshod over all the fucking progress we've made in this country with civil rights. Especially civil rights. As little as it may seem, I hope all of you that enjoyed that progress we made did not take it for granted. Because it's gone. It's gone. Completely gone. You think I'm being alarmist? How much is the rent at the rock you live under?
Not an
I want to know.
alarmist,
Maybe
just
I
a
can
little
get myself a
premature.
room because I could use a rock to live under. After going through a year and a half of this shit, I just want to tune everything out.
Oh dear God, so dramatic. Oh my God. Ugh.
I don't need to go over every last little detail.
I'm getting the cringe creeps.
All I know is that I'm ashamed of you fucking people.
Ooh. Shots fired.
My top priority is to leave this fucking country.
And I did.
I've never been very high on this country.
And I did, and that's another reason why this video is somewhat of a landmark, I guess, in some ways, because it's definitely not the first time I said to myself that I wanted to leave the U.S., but it really set the wheels in motion for me to try to figure out, okay, I've said it for so many years, now how do I make it happen? You know, so many people have misinterpreted this as it was Donald Trump who made me, because there are, oh God, how many, countless people said, oh, if Donald Trump wins, I'm going to leave this country. The same way that countless Republicans said, if Obama wins, I'm going to leave this country. It's said for every fucking everybody. So you can't really try to claim some sort of superiority based on your political wing on that one. But I did. I absolutely left the country, and it was not simply based on Donald Trump. Period. There were a lot of reasons to not like the United States very much, and there are a lot of reasons to feel disillusioned as a younger person living in the United States when you have boomers who had everything looking down at you and telling you, why don't you do this and you do that, and all these problems you have that we created will just go away. You know, it's just so tone deaf, and again, it's an extension of me wanting to see more of the world, and I've experienced more of the world, and where I am currently Even though at times Finland makes me very, very sad because of, the dark winter, the eternal darkness in winter, and the wonky hours, and my body getting, and the people being very, hard to befriend or even really talk to, especially if you're an outsider. Despite all of that, I'm in so much better of a place than I was there. In this place here where I am sitting, brooding and depressed more than ever, hopeless about the future. Um, yeah, at the very least, no matter how much this country, no matter how much Finland makes me sad and lonely and all of those things, I know in the back of my head that health wise, I'm still so much better off. And future wise, I'm still so much better off here. That's what I wanted to say there.
But this was the straw that shattered the camel's spine into a million fucking pieces.
Kinda. Yeah.
It's
But
gonna take
again,
me a long time. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
I didn't know.
Don't know where I'm gonna go.
I didn't know that either.
Maybe I have some help from some friends. Maybe I don't. Whatever.
I did.
Whatever it takes. Some of you may be saying, well, why didn't you do it before? Because I thought we were making real goddamn progress in this country. That's why. Call me a blind loser fanboy of Barack Obama, but you
I'm
can't
sorry,
ignore
this
the
just-
steps that we took, the positive steps that we took for civil rights in this country over the past 8 years. And I'm big on civil rights, okay?
Oh.
The slow steps we were
Why
making.
did I think we were making progress? That's another thing that's hard for me to wrap my head around. When I look back now, with the way that I think things should be politically and my belief system and everything, did we really make all that much progress? I don't know that a lot of it was on paper progress. A lot of it was what's the right word? Performative. A lot of the things that have been done, the U.S. definitely doing better than they did 10 years ago, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that. So technically, yes. Is it enough? Fuck no. Absolutely not. It's never ever been enough, and that's the point. More needs to be done, but yeah, I'm not sure what gave me the inkling to stay in that country for as long as I did. We're making so much progress. Well, and also, granted, I was 25 years old, and you can't, especially these days, I don't know that you can expect any 24 or 25-year-old to just have the resources to up and go wherever. They have to have their shit together a little better, or a little bit better than I did. But I was born in 1990, and I have lived to see good, positive change. The legalization of gay marriage is one thing that comes to mind. Seeing these god awful transgender, like the bathroom bills being shot down in Supreme Courts is nice. I just wish things looked less performative. Is what I'm saying, and I wish that that the U.S. could elect people who truly believe in moving forward rather than backwards, and making the rich even richer and making money even more of a part of politics. And those people need to go. The dinosaurs, congressional term limits, absolutely. It's long past time for things like that. There's so many things that could improve, but I'm not going to go over them all because I'm already at so many minutes here. I think, where am I? 19 minutes. Jesus.
Towards making climate change one of our top priorities.
Yeah, that's
I had
one way
hope.
he shit the bed.
I had a faint glimmer of hope, but once the election returns started pouring in, misery reared its ugly head.
He couldn't even keep us out of the Paris Climate Accord because
So now this is it.
Biden reversed it like instantly. So even when it comes to things like the environment, which he probably did do more harm than good to in his 4 years, he only had 4 years. And then when Joe Biden came in, old man Joe, he just fucking reversed it. So even environmentally speaking, and even with Joe Biden now pushing his eco-friendly pledges and rhetoric to various media outlets, um, he didn't even really get a chance to do much damage to the environment as president, at least as much as he wanted to do. So there's another area of life that I thought was just going to become complete dystopia under him that never got the chance to take off because the right thing happened, even if it wasn't the right person in 2020 and he was elected out of office.
This is absolutely it.
I got 3 more minutes of this. Oh my God.
This is a moment where I just throw caution to the wind, maybe take a big chance. Who?
I did?
Maybe just do what Neil Peart did back in the 70s or 60s and just get up and, or whenever, fucking early 70s, just get up, go to the UK, live in the UK for a while.
And I ended up in Finland.
Obviously not that easy anymore, but I've never been more frightened for the direction of this country. And when I leave this country, wherever it is I end up,
I have reason.
I can say that I've never been more saddened for the people I left behind.
A bit dramatic. A bit dramatic.
A majority of Americans.
Because the people that I quote unquote left behind, nobody was really dependent on me. So I don't know. I don't even know what I was saying by the people I left behind, but they're still alive. Most of them. I have one friend who died, but other than that, yeah, they're all still alive and kicking. So, wow, it's just so much.
Voted for Donald Trump to be our president. No, I shouldn't say our. The amount of connection I have to the majority of Americans right now is absolutely non-existent.
It was kind of always non-existent, though. Just humans in general, I don't feel very connected to. That's just my problem.
I can go back and forth about how people rationalize all this stupid shit he said and the stupid shit that he's done in his life, and try to find some way to take all the shit that he's done and said and you know, find a way to make that seem worse than what Hillary has done.
Okay. Lots
Or
of
try to
dramatic pause.
find a way to make what Hillary has done seem worse than what he has done. I'm still just, you know, I'm not all me right now.
Clearly. Very clearly not all me at this point in time. Because I'm not really saying anything.
But I know that no matter where I do end up in the world, there's still going to be a little bit of worry.
Yeah, because
Donald Trump is a leader of the free world, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm oh so happy that so many of you fucking idiots out there are happy. You got your outsider. You got your guy who says what's on his mind. You got your pal. Shut up.
What was that?
Pet her.
Oh man, I was so upset.
Even my cat is worried.
Oh, my cat was probably worried because I was upset. That cat that I had was very emotionally present. If I was going through something or if I was upset, metallic cat, yes, that was, or is, cat's still alive in my mom's place in Michigan. Yeah, was very, that sucks though. Just seeing that, just being, you know, shut up. Metallic Cat just probably wanted to know that I was okay, that I was going to be okay, and wanted to but I was having none of it, and that's very unfortunate because Metallicat was a great comfort to me through many trials and tribulations of my life at this point in time. Oh, good. There's only like 4 seconds left.
Fuck it.
Yeah, and then I turned the camera off, and then I went somewhere to brood even more. Is there even anything more that can be said about this video? Oh, well, let's see. I guess one basic reflection that I could make is that a lot of the cringe that I felt watching that video back wasn't necessarily the video itself. It was a bit dramatic, but years of hindsight make it look even more dramatic. Like, he was bad, he was a horrible person, still is a horrible person, and he still has his claws in American politics somehow, has the support of people. He had one of the most do-nothing presidencies in the history of the United States. He's probably going to go down as easily, he's in the top 5 of worst presidents ever. Even if it's not because there were things he didn't get done that he said he was going to get done, it's because he just didn't get anything done. Period. He didn't do a fucking thing, a single positive thing in his 4 years. So I look back on that, and then I watch this video, and it's, oh, you know you have reason to be worried, but you still can't help but cringe. It's paradoxical in that sense. It's like, I still feel like there's a part of me that was so totally justified in being that dramatic, but then again, here we are 5 years later. None of his goofy shit passed. None of his goofy shit came to pass, and with any luck, it never will. One other reflection I guess I could throw in here is the response that I got from people when I actually did leave the United States, because I absolutely was not just blowing off steam when I said that this was a straw that broke the camel's back. It kind of was, even though I was already pretty locked in on the notion of leaving. I got a bunch of shit from people saying that, I was a quitter, just giving up on my country, and instead of doing something about the issues that I, an individual among 330 million plus, instead of doing something about all these problems, I just left. And yeah, I made the decision to see more of the world because I'm aware there are other countries out there, and I've been told my entire life by so many people from the time I was 1 second old to the time I was 25 and a half and decided I've had enough of this shit. This is the greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world. But one commonality that ran through so many of these people is that they never lived anywhere else. They've never experienced anywhere else. Maybe for a few days, maybe for a week, maybe even for a couple of weeks. But beyond that, these people who were so assured that they were living in the greatest country in the world, they didn't travel. They didn't see the world. They didn't experience. They didn't care about the way that the world did things. I do care about the way that the world does things, and I did care about the way the world did things, so I wanted to experience more of the world. And what exactly anchors anybody to their country other than comfort, other than that shared culture and sometimes even language that gives you that sense of comfort? Is it the border? To me, not necessarily, because I don't see borders that way. I don't like the idea of borders. I don't like the idea of people having to basically almost, and in some cases, kill themselves trying to gain citizenship or asylum, even just asylum to escape some inhumane, horrifying situation. They shouldn't have to put themselves through the kind of horrors that they do just to get a place to live in a safer area where they can rebuild their lives, because they're human fucking beings. They're not numbers. They're not a code on a passport. They're not a chain of numbers on an identification card. They're human fucking beings in the end. And that's what we all are. And to sequester ourselves behind these borders and to put up these beautiful flags and to rah-rah for them. When you think like that, what are you giving up on when you leave a country? What are you what are you quitting? What is it that I should feel ashamed about? Because the only thing tying me to the United States is my birth, and I didn't choose to be born there. Nobody chooses to be born anywhere. When we're born, I like to think of a person or an entity or a big jumble of ones and zeros in the sky, and oh, we're gonna roll the dice, and this person is gonna be born in Tempe, Arizona. They're gonna work at a fish factory for their entire lives, and this person's gonna be born in Kazakhstan, and he's gonna do whatever. I know that's not actually what happens, but that's what I like to think of it as, to give you a visualization, to highlight the point that none of this, from the very beginning, we're not given a choice. And we're given very little of a choice from 1 to 18. Once you hit 18, the world is your oyster. Go off, do whatever the hell you want. In some places before that. But you're so restricted for so many years of your life, and there's only so many places you can go. And you can choose to you can make the choice to stay and be happy with the system that you have, two parties, a circus of elections, a history of manifest destiny, a history of horrible, unpardonable, unspeakable behavior towards settlers, towards migrants, towards, or you can make the choice that, hey, this is a big planet, and I'm lucky enough to be able to, I can, so I am going to go somewhere else. I never felt any shame. I never felt like I was a quitter or that I was giving up. I always, if anything in the US, it felt like when it came to actually trying to improve things, like what voice did I have? What voice did somebody in my position have? Being very poor, being, at that level of the social system in the United States where nobody's really listening. The politicians who get elected, they say they're listening, they say they care, but their real attention is toward the donors and toward the lobbyists and the people who will benefit them. Coming to the realization that politicians were not actually public servants, but like anybody else in this world, people who were in it for themselves, people who were in the job to advance themselves and their families. It's just a job, being a politician. You're supposed to help people. They don't. End of story. That probably should be the end of the story because, yes, I've been going on and on and on and on and on and on. But lots of thoughts, lots of feelings, lots of things to reflect on. I feel like this could go on even longer and I could talk even more about it because when you make the decision to leave a country that you were born in, the only country you've ever known, to move somewhere like Finland, just choosing to leave your home country in general is a really big step. And that's, I understand that's a reason why a lot of people don't do it. And then get stuck in this mentality that, well, I'm in the greatest country in the world, so, and that sucks. And I hope that, I really, really hope that everybody in this world, not one person excluded if they want to, there comes a time where you are able to see another country, where you're able to experience another country's culture, to experience another way of living, another way of governing, another way of socializing, another way of, because, it could change your perspective. And you could go back to the United States and see how stagnant things have been for the past 100 or so years and go, oh, yeah, they were not so great after all. Is there anything else I can really reflect on? No, but, sure there is, but God, I've kept you here for long enough if you're even still here. That's that. The world didn't end, and I'm in Finland and I'm trying to make the best of it. And that's that, really. So, have a good day, folks. See you for part 6 or whatever I choose to do in between.